This fade from Paramount logo to actual mountain is f***ing sweet, and the logo is only like 8 seconds long. Someone saw the Brady Bunch Hawaiian 2-part special. When this guy runs away, do all the other people who were with them run away too? There are at least 5 people besides Indy in this group, but after this, it's just these 2 dudes, including Magnolia's Alfred Molina.
Poison is still fresh, 3 days. They're following us.
Why would the poison dart you just found indicate that they're following you? If anything, you're following them.
If they knew we were here, they would have killed us already.
I see. Coincidental poison dart, then? This is somewhere between southern Chile and northern Colombia. Hang a right at the gas station, you can't miss it. Completely illegible map is completely illegible. Also, I mean, god damn, that is 4 used McDonald's napkins, not a map. That shit is f***ing useless. This guy takes no caution in cocking his gun in the presence of Indy. Like, maybe cock the gun somewhere else so that it doesn't give you away. Where the f*** did these spiders come from? This was the shot we saw just before Spider-Man 2's Alfred Molina made him aware. Are they jumping down from the ceiling? And I guess more spiders jumped on species Alfred Molina because they know he's up to no good. You gotta watch spiders, man. Their nature's bad guy detectors. Know that I have nothing but love for this movie. It's an all-timer. But how does an ancient people rig up a motion sensor booby trap like this? And did the booby trap reset itself after Indy's rival got killed? How does the whip tie itself around this log when sturdy enough to support a man's weight? When we see it from the other side, it's somehow gotten around the log 3 times. That's from one flick of the wrist. One of the things that makes this movie awesome is how little dialogue or explanation this opening scene gives you. It's largely just watching the action of them solving a riddle. If it were made today, the entire first segment would be full of stupid one-liners back and forth, most of it being about cultural misunderstandings. That dart could so easily have just hit him if he hadn't been holding the thing in the perfect spot. He had no idea what might happen, or that it would be a dart, or that the dart would hit the wooden dongle instead of his eyeball. Honestly, if avoiding these brown vagina tiles is all it takes to not trigger the booby trap, then this all seems pretty easy. He releases sand from the counterweight by eyeballing the weight of the idol, which is just beyond ballsy. Now I wonder how long it took to build this glorified storage unit and how they tested it out. This tribe built a whole temple where you had to avoid a solar booby trap, play pitfall, avoid poisonous darts, and then finally, if you get to the idol, you set off an alarm that causes the whole thing to self-destruct and unleashes a boulder as a last gasp to trap you inside forever. All for this ugly thing. These idol worshippers thought of everything when it came to booby traps, but they did not factor in the speed of a man as he runs across the poison dart lobby. Ford says Sapito here when the name of the character is Satipo, and even the subtitles confirm it should have been Satipo. During this entire time, we see the boulder. It's moving at speeds that should trample Indy, but due to the magic of editing, Indy is always several steps ahead. So here is the wall of webs that Indy and Boogie Nights Alfred Molina encountered earlier. As you can see, the exit from the cave is pretty far away in this shot, but here it's just a couple of steps and a dive away. How good is Indy? He's about to outrace a group of this jungle's natives. That's really good.
Jock! Start the engine!
Indy tells Jock to start the engines, and we see Jock look up and notice Indy running from all the natives. But then we see Indy running towards a thick area of jungle with no water in sight. Then we see him grabbing a vine to swing into the water, surrounded by more thick jungle. How the f*** did Jock see him or even hear him? Indy runs into the woods, and the trailing native guy fires an arrow 100 feet above Indy into the trees. All these blowers, and no one was able to land a climax. a kill shot. Oh, and the archers are terrible too.
There's a big snake in the plane, Jock!
Indy is instantly tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Oh my, that's bad for your eyes. Don't draw on your eyelids, kids, or put lotion on them or anything like that. Most of what you put on the eyelid will leak into the eye. Also, writing love notes on your eyelids. Also, Christ, who drew that on there? And how did she not wig out when it was happening? Imagine someone writing with an ink pen on your closed eyelid and then explain how she did this. Even if it's mascara and she applied it herself looking into the mirror, it's a minor miracle it came out right. The director said, let's have your character give Dr. Jones an apple after class. It'll make you look like even more of an asshole.
I had it, Marcus. I had it in my hand.
Wait, did he just get back from South America and only had time to go straight to class when he got back? Why hasn't he told Marcus about the idol yet? Our discussion about the Ark and Hitler is top secret, so let's find the biggest classroom we can find and leave a few open doors to talk about it.
The city of Tanis was consumed by the desert in a sandstorm which lasted a whole year.
That was very Darude, that sandstorm.
Now, what's that supposed to be coming out of there?
Lightning, fire, power of God or something.
Gotta say, this power of God that comes out of the Ark definitely raises the stakes of this adventure. You can't really have a movie without it, but you've got to wonder why the stone tablets of the original 10 Commandments are guarded with this kind of power. These are very important documents that explain God's will, but no one can ever see them. You can copy the commandments down for your own notes, but the originals are very important for some reason, and God will kill you if you look at them. Gun, whip, leather jacket, he's all packed. Let's go to the airport. Let's go right now. The propeller is spinning and there are 2 flight attendants under the wing. This is a nice image, but what kind of light source is even making this possible? This is apparently coming from the fireplace, but the light wouldn't be this even, and there are so many other lights on, it would make shadow work like this impossible.
I never meant to hurt you.
I was a child. I was in love. He was wrong and you knew it!
This needs a lot more explaining than it gets. Did he do that on purpose? We give modern movies a lot of for how hard it is to keep up with the action, but this classic Steven Spielberg movie is guilty of it too. A lot of close-ups of random people shooting somewhere off screen and no idea where everyone is.
Whiskey?
Jesus, just how long is the bar that Indy can request a bottle of whiskey and get it in time to smash this dude over the head to avoid the fire?
They have not one brain among them. Except one. Well, we call him Balosh. Belloc.
Amazing how Belloc went from stealing the idol from Indy straight to helping the Germans finding the Ark in like a week. How is it that out of all the archaeological finds in the world, Indy keeps running into Belloc over and over? This might be a good time to search for the Holy Grail since Belloc's busy. Oh, of course the monkey's evil? How do you train a monkey to keep tabs on strangers? Shoplifting. Here comes a what the f*** edit in the movie. Marion runs through this archway and the guy with the knife is hot on her heels. It appears that she's going into a building, right? But when the scene cuts, she's still outside and runs into another doorway where she knocks dude out with a fry pan. I don't want to play the music here, but the Jones and Marion theme is very similar to the Han and Leia theme, and they even start with the same 3 notes.
I ought to kill you right now.
Not a very private place for a murder?
Of course, you've already gotten away with at least 3 in the last 5 minutes, so what's one more?
I am a shadowy reflection of you.
You and I are not so different, cliché.
Uncle Indy, come back home now!
I have never understood these sudden children who save Indiana from this situation. We find out later that his buddy Gimli was looking for him, but it's not like he knew Indy was in trouble. And even if he did, why would he send these kids in to protect him when the whole place could erupt in gunfire at any second?
And take back one Kadam to honor the Hebrew god whose ark this is.
It's pretty incredible that this medallion tells people to get a staff that's 6 feet tall, but on the reverse side, it's like, but you better take a foot off, you know, to honor God or something. I didn't know God had penis envy. Anyway, it's temporarily inconvenient for the villains who only had one side to work with.
Bad dates.
Dr. Jones' fate abates once the primate playmate ate a not great date.
What time does the sun hit the map room?
About 9 in the morning.
Okay, but surely this all has to happen on or near a specific day, right? The sun will hit the map room at a different time every day, and as the planet turns, the beam coming into the map room will change where it lands, right? Am I insane here? If you don't know what day or week to do this, then you could all end up digging in the wrong place. They had f***ing dudes with guns guarding the workers hauling dirt, but they have no armed guards on the map room? Belloc used a longer staff, and that's why the Germans are digging in the wrong place right now. But did they also not put their staff in the right hole? This hole is covered in sand, despite Belloc being here the previous morning. So the Nazis busted Sala, but didn't arrest him, let him wander away free to make a blanket rope, and didn't stay guarding their map room so he would be able to just waltz right back over there to free Indy.
Who was to switch baskets?
Yeah, but how? She was being carried by those 2 dudes the whole time. If she switched baskets, she must have been throwing her voice too, since she was yelling out of that basket the whole time. And that basket clearly went into the back of that truck that exploded. Also, if she switched baskets, why was she still captured? Is this supposed to be how Belloc had a copy of the medallion? His burned hand only has a few of the markings at the top, while the real one has markings going all the way around it. How did they even get enough of the translation to even begin searching in the wrong place? Somehow, entirely off screen, Jones reconnected with Sala and recruited a bunch of the local workers to stop what they were doing and come help him dig. And none of the bad guys who are everywhere all over this camp saw this unsolicited digging or ever stopped to ask questions. Also, it's at this point I feel like Indy doesn't think things through. The bad guys can't find the Ark because they don't have the right coordinates and never will. Technically, he could save Marion, leave, and find the Ark later. This is where you have to start a disinformation campaign so that the Nazis will look the other way or give up for a while because this is just too risky. I don't know what causes this little shift in the image in the background, but whatever it is, it makes everything look fake as shit. As they clear off the stone tablet they found digging, I wonder if Indy ever stopped to think he was allowed to come here and find the Ark by the very bad guys he thinks he's racing against. Oh, look at the never-ending snake brigade down in this room that's been sealed for 1,000 years. There must be so much food and oxygen down here. It's only natural that snakes are crawling all over each other to get their share of the plentiful resources that must be down here. I think Marion is a badass, but for the most part, she's just a damsel in distress. Also, how was the dress he gave her exactly her size? Also, he just f***ing learned the Nazi guys were going to torture her, and now he's being nice to her in the hopes that she will share information before having to be tortured. So why did he have a dress lying around here at all? Let alone one that fit her every line and curve perfectly. Never set living snakes on fire. That's one of my life rules. Well, I won't be eating this anymore. Wait, you're not going to open it, are you? You're smart, aren't you? Oh, they are opening it because it's not the Ark, only the casing outside the Ark. But how did they know that? This lid has to be at least as heavy as that roof was that took several men to open with pry bars, but Sala and Indy are able to lift this heavy as thing by themselves using nothing other than their brute strength.
Americans, you're all the same. Always overdressing for the wrong occasions.
Wait, that's his burn? Americans are always overdressing for the wrong occasions? Is that even marginally true? We dress up for weddings, funerals, church, graduation, business meetings. Where are we going wrong, sir? Should we be wearing suits to WrestleMania? Or shorts to revival services? I love this scene. I love it. But there's no reason why this guy has a coat hanger like this. He gives his coat to this dude who's just gonna hold it anyway. It's not like he hangs it up anywhere. I don't mean to sin fun, but I just sinned fun. In the third movie, the Holy Grail turns out to be a commoner's cup, not a golden masterpiece. So why would the Ark of the Covenant be any different? Where'd they get all this f***ing gold anyway? Moses specifically condemned them for making a golden calf. Did they melt that down to make the Ark? Because if so, then they probably didn't learn the lesson Moses was teaching about the golden calf. Also, were the long wooden rods that fit perfectly in the holes already here? Or did Indy bring those too? Well, we never learned about it. Feels like they were here already. Why did the people who took such great pains to hide the Ark leave so many tools behind for stealing it?
You would use a bulldozer to find the China Cup.
In the end, what was the point of those scenes with Marion and Belloc and the weird Nazi guy? It doesn't drive the plot at all. We know Belloc wanted to get Marion drunk and have her spill the beans. And we know they used future melty glasses to question Marion about the medallion. We don't even see what he did when he questioned her. But in the end, none of that matters because Belloc just stumbles on Indy's dig in the morning. Technically, you could have lost that whole sequence and it wouldn't have mattered. I know that's sacrilege to say because there are some entertaining bits, but seriously, you could have cut that whole Marion tent sequence and the movie doesn't lose anything.
Take this. Wave it at anything that slithers.
This is a dangerous thing to say to a woman you have a sexual past with. Dude has a lit torch between his chin and his shoulder while he is rope climbing. And if the movie isn't going to act like that's cool, I at least will. I mean, it's impossible too, which is why I'm sending it, but it's still cool. That wall was sturdy as wasn't it? How is it even standing? Is this statue really that strong? Jump-scaring skeleton can lick my armpit. Oh, good. They're everywhere. This is fun. And Jesus, somehow one solitary snake was camping out in this spot where there aren't millions of snakes. No one disturbs him in his kingdom of the actual skull. They were buried deep in the well of souls, but sure, when Indy finds an exit, all they have to do is climb up like 10 feet. Also, luckily, there appears to be a bunch of stones that form steps to this opening up here, which is weird, since nothing else in this area seems to be missing anything. I guess these were spare stones the Egyptians had left over when they built this place. Hey, it's time for a classic film flub. Today's classic film flub. The stone Indy pushes out is definitely not a heavy stone. You can see the shadow bounce to confirm it. It's really fun stuff. Cannibalism. After knocking out the pilot, Marion climbs into the cockpit, and all I have to say is, why? Also, she gets trapped in there and has to be saved, when all she had to do after knocking out the pilot was jump down and run away. These heroes are closer without being seen than the hobbits were when they slid down the rocks outside the entrance to Mordor. Half these f***ing people behind them should be pointing and shouting about the white people barely hiding behind a dirt mound. He's sure to catch that car on horseback. Good God, man, there's no excuse for missing. You not only have a clear shot, you also have a machine gun. I'm no Egypt expert, but it seems weird that this action scene started in a jungle, momentarily crossed into a mountainous region for a convenient car crash, and now it's back in the jungle again. Then Indy tries to kick this guy off the truck and he nearly falls off a cliff. But when his buddy turns to find him, it looks like completely different terrain. Let's give a round of applause to goddamn stunt people. This stunt is in itself Spielberg's tribute to stunt people. Jesus, this rules. That said, both his front and back should be riddled with cuts, bumps, bruises, and other signs of having been dragged across a desert road. Everyone is happy and singing and dancing. The hero has his arm around the girl, and there's no way this is done. How can the characters in the movie be so dumb? Did Marion not get another change of clothing after all that bullshit? She's still in Belloc's dress, and it's ripped and muddy, and I think I'm in love, but damn, you'd think she would have found some new clothes by now. Falling asleep during a Karen Allen seduction. Is the Ark burning this Nazi crate? If so, why did it take so long? And why doesn't it finish the job? And why is it burning when the Ark itself hasn't even been opened yet? Is this really happening? Is he really climbing out of a steam pipe like a goddamn cartoon?
We are not in the position to ask for anything. We will take what we wish.
I'm pretty sure this guy is just being a Nazi asshole. Not-sole? But earlier, this guy wanted to throw Marion down into the Well of Souls for absolutely no reason. My guess is the script dictates his every move, which is going to get him in hot water with Hitler. Steven Spielberg's Das Boot. I love this scene where Indy punches this dude and takes his uniform, but it really makes me wonder how nobody sees this. I mean, the people patrolling this walkway would have seen not only the first guy get beat up, but also the second guy. Not to mention Indy trying on new clothes and Even when doing field work, you still need pole-holding jingoists?
Your persistence surprises even me.
Holy did he just swallow that fly? For some reason, they kept Jones and Marion alive and tied them up to watch the show. There's zero reason for them to do this unless they know we are all watching, needing resolution.
Marion, don't look at it.
The don't look at it idea comes out of the sheer blue. I guess this comes from years of study, and it's an educated guess, but this hasn't even been hinted at until now. This Ark is no longer a viable weapon if people can just shut their eyes and avoid the consequences. Word on the battlefield would get around pretty quick about this weakness. Also, I sort of wish that the Archangel that's about to come out and kill a bunch of Nazis was actually doing it because they were Nazis, and because Belloc is clearly evil. You'd think an angel would know who's good or bad and kill accordingly. Nightmare fuel! I do believe in spooks, I do believe in spooks. Are the Nazis being sent to heaven? here? Maybe they're just going in for processing. Peter will ask them the usual round of questions. They'll fail, obviously, but kind of a weird scene watching this Nazi mist go into the clouds here. Oh, hey, look, the flames cut the rope without killing us. Sweet. Okay, how do we get off this island? Marion, do you know how to drive a submarine? Never mind. I'll read the manual. It'll be in German, but I think I can get the gist of it.
Well, the money's fine. The situation is totally unacceptable.
Indiana Jones now knows there's proof of God. I mean, he won't be able to make anyone believe him, but it's a bit surprising it doesn't change his life in a meaningful way.
Well, I know what I've got here.
To think, this romance is going to produce a kid named Mutt. I've always loved the mystery of this warehouse. Thousands of crates that all contain something the government doesn't want you to see. The Ark is just one of many. One of the best ending shots in a movie ever. Did you know the CinemaSin writers have podcasts? Check out Sincast and Behind the Sins by searching for CinemaSins wherever you listen to podcasts.
Oh, who am I kidding? The boathouse was the time.
You hear that, boys? If we don't knock out that airfield, they'll go after Enterprise.
Prepare to make the jump to light speed.
Wiped clean by the wrath of God.
Erase from existence.
Maybe we should travel by map.
Soon they will come to arm you, and I will not be able to stop them.
Tommy, how's it peeping? Tommy, how's it peeping?
I'm putting in a chase sequence. So the killer flees on horseback with the girl, the cops after them on a motorcycle. And it's like a battle between motors and horses, like technology versus horse.
The driving. How does he reach the pedals? Your persistence surprises even me. You're gonna give mercenaries a bad name.
I swallowed a bug.
The world watched in amazement as he unlocked the mysteries of Al Capone's glove compartment.
Aha! Road maps!
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
I feel terrible.